Day. How y'all doing? I hope it's a good day for you all. Um, I just want to start by saying I am going to be doing a little bit of giving y'all a little bit of my journey and my history on this internet. And I want to start with some very relevant information. So about 5 years ago, I started this journey in regards to kind of wanting to get good information out to the people. And I wish that I would have stuck with it with the times, like continuously. But unfortunately, things, and it's really not unfortunate, but things happen how it happened, right? And I want to say fortunately, what did occur though from it all is this platform, which is allowing me to be able to be a lot more efficient, right? What I'm going to be doing is reacting to some of my content from YouTube. Like I said, 5 years ago, this is what I started kind of. I'm trying to refrain from using the word podcast, but that's kind of what I started it out as. And I told y'all I got a little weird relationship with that situation. So, yeah, in regards to using the word podcast, but it's really just real world conversation, man. Real life conversation, and just showcasing how we're all just human, you know. But I'm gonna have some commentary and kind of stop and talk a little bit throughout this process about what we'll be watching. So this episode in particular is going to be about women in fitness. This is women from all different kind of walks of lives. I actually interviewed my cousin. This was back in 2020, and she is actually a trainer. If I'm not mistaken, she is still training to this day. So she has her own gym, her partner. If everything is still the same, then she has a gym, and I will have to get her information because this was 5 years ago. So I don't know what all has changed exactly because she's not in the same state that I'm in. And so, yes, you know, it ain't aligned. It hasn't aligned like that. Anyway, I am going to get her information if necessary. Y'all, you know, hit me up. Let me know if you are wanting this information. As you see, my socials are on the screen right now. Then we'll be able to get y'all some updated information. So if y'all in the area, y'all can really tap in. But I want to make sure we keep in mind during this process that we are all making an effort, and that's what matters the most. So I just want to start there. If you put in the work, if you're trying, that makes all of the difference, baby. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and get into this video. I don't want to make this long. It's already an hour and 10, so let's get into it. What I have is my personal knowledge and opinion. Only law is universe. Hey, I'm ShAyee, and this is... Hey, ShAyee. Come talk to me. Boy, look at my old intro.
Today I do have a special
Beautiful.
guest here with me.
Speaking of intros, I have to redo my intro. As y'all can see, man, I was prepared back then. Also, Vamp is a part of her brand, and as you see right here, this is her Instagram. So it may still be the same. I don't have an Instagram, so I can't tell you, and I'm not sure if she started her YouTube, but tap in with her. Look for her on all platforms. Let me check right now to see if she's on TikTok. because I'm not mistaken, I believe she should be. And if y'all know anything about anything, baby, family don't communicate every day, all day. You know what I'm saying? So it's some things. Honey, it's been a while long. But give me a second. Give me a second. Yeah, y'all, I'm gonna have to get my intro back, baby. It's funny. I've been working on the back end to really get that vibe back, man. You know, of what I want this all to be, and kind of how I want it to look. So as you can see, I'm working as we going along. So just stay with me, and let me go on the page. I see it here, but let me make sure. Okay, the account is private. Hold up, y'all. Hold on. Alright, so I'm seeing it here, but I'm not sure if she's attached to it. So, because I'm not able to see what I need to see. So I'm gonna put it like this. Again, if y'all want me to go ahead and tap in and get that information, I would definitely do so. But I'm gonna go ahead and run this.
And this is also my family. I'm gonna let her do an introduction, introduce herself.
Hi guys, my name is Pamela Hill, known as Cousin Pam. I am a trainer for the Fitness Connection. We're located in Pelham, Alabama. I, I recently was a juvenile detention officer, and I actually quit my job March 15th to pursue fitness. So I'm going all in with it. It's not just on the level where I'm actually, being trained or I'm training people. I'm trying to do a whole different total thing with it. Even from this clothing line that I'm actually wearing a t-shirt. It's called VAMP, Visualize and Move Powerful. So I'm trying to get that moving. And for myself, bodybuilding. So eventually I'll get into the bikini competition. So, along with just, training people and getting myself where I need to be, it's a lot of things you can do in the fitness arena, and that's what I kind of want to tap into. So again, I'm here with my cousin ShAyee. Answer these questions, girl.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. That's pretty good. Now, that's I'm gonna have to check that out because when it comes to the clothes and stuff like that's something I wanted to tap into too for a long time. But most definitely gonna have to support that for sure.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
my first question is gonna be basically it was just about how do you stay basically motivated to do it consistently? Is it only just because you kind of have the drive to just be healthier, have a better, let's just say, outlook in on the outer realm, or is it the healthier inside, or what is it?
Okay, well, I'll say with motivation, it can be your start, but it's not what's going to carry you through the journey. You have to have something to start with, and
Mm-hmm.
motivation, and you need to have like a question in your mindset to say, what is your why? Why do you want to start?
Very much so agree, and that is very much so relevant to this day in terms of conversation. 100%, baby, 100%. So I definitely still agree with that. Um, and again, mind y'all, this was 5 years ago, so bear with me when it comes to my interviewing skills. Which yeah, let's continue.
If it's just your children, if it's just you getting yourself in shape, that's your why. But you have to take that why and use your motivation as well to start. But with me, it was more or less, like I said, the motivation, and the motivation was because my parents. My father actually today marks like I think 7 years he's been gone, 6.5, 7 years. So um, between the two of them, my mom's living with dementia. So living there with them for that year before I moved here, I saw the medicines that they were taking, and it was like he had a hand.
I do want to just stop and say rest in peace to both of them. Um, my aunt has since passed, and definitely the face that I made when she talked about her father's, because I'm like, dang, it's been that long. I remember going, of course, to the funeral, and same for her mother, which was not too long ago. So I just wanted to stop and have a moment for sure. All right, all right, all right.
Full and she had a handful. And this medicine was taken.
Oh, and real fast, yes. To what she's talking about at this moment, man. I'm trying to see how I want to approach it. I'm just gonna put it like this. If you've been watching any of my good day content, then you know kind of some of the things I have talked about in regards to health. I mean, there's a lot of things that I have not talked about, and I don't think anybody really knows exactly. Um, but man, when I say I've been through, I've been through when it comes to health, and it's been some of my own doing for sure. Some things are hereditary, but I just want to say this is not even the it shouldn't be, but I get why it is. Our main reason as to why we want to get ourselves together, we really, I wish, could start. And I thought about this the other night. Wish we could have started on the grounds of just wanting to be healthy, and it being a priority and a mandate within our family dynamic. But the reality is, it has not been. And I'm not just speaking about my family only, I'm speaking in general. And I know you know what I mean if you can relate, right? Right. So we have a lot of things that we've been taught, and a lot of things we've been force fed, a lot of things that we kind of just had to endure one way or the other. So whether it's through family and their poor history and not changing up the tempo in regards to doing something different, like starting their own garden and being consistent and really living in that, to just simply taking on and falling into just enjoying what you enjoy because you enjoy it, you know. We see so many commercials. I know y'all already y'all already know. You've been living long enough, you understand exactly what a problem has come in at. I mean, you understand that it takes a lot of willpower, man, to want to be healthy, and it's not always easy. But they say if you want it bad enough, then it is easy. But I'm gonna tell you, even if it's something that you want bad, it does not mean that tough times are not going to occur. And also, this is bigger than just selecting food. It also really gets down into who you are, your makeup, and your habits. Are you a person who are naturally addicted to things? You know what I'm saying? So it all, a lot of things play a part in it. Your biology makes a difference. So I definitely wish it could have started out better, but it didn't. Right? So the reality is what it is. But this, for anybody who may be experiencing this specific thing she's stating right now, let this please be your start. Because, bro, in the industry that I work in, it's really sad to hear how many different medications and different things people are actually consuming and taking. And I talked to my grandmother, I talked to my grandmama, I talked to my mama, and just listening to different things. My mama don't tell me as much, as kind of sometimes with my grandma in comparison too. But I know, man, it's if you can do it yourself, start there. That's what I want to say right now. If you can do it yourself, start there. The main thing that people fail is getting to the root of their problem and trying to do quick fixes. I'm all about getting to the root of the problem and nipping it in the bud. I'm going to use one specific thing as an example. When I was informed that I had fibroids, and that is the reason why I was having um, excess bleeding during my menstrual cycles, the second time where I was a lot wiser and I was a lot more in tune with wanting to do better, I started to ask real questions. And my question was, what's the main, like, what's the main trigger, or what specifically is causing this to occur? And basically, what they told me is it's about the imbalance in my hormones. So, what did I do? Start to work on balancing my hormones, start to figure out what's triggering the imbalance. So, smoking, drinking, which is something I for sure was doing at the time, that had to be cut, right? We had to cut back. And then the next thing was stress, right? All of these things play a part in your hormones. So it only makes sense. What is your menstrual cycle anyway? So it's kind of like the compound. You just got to break it down. And sometimes people get caught up in having to break things down to where they quit before they get to the root. And I just want to tell you, don't give up on yourself, because you truly do deserve better. But you gotta want that shit for real. You really do. So let's continue.
Carry this medicine, I was just like, you know what? I got to get myself in check, because if I don't, this is the lifestyle I'll, live as well. And with hypertension and thyroid, overactive thyroid, prevalent in our family, I had to get something in moving. So once I moved here, and my
That's another thing. Let's talk family history. See, she was able to, for however she found out this information is good. But see, I've talked to my family members before also, well, specifically my grandma, because she mostly is the person who I know that kind of try to get things together and collect the information. I speak to her because also she's been dealing with a lot of different things for a long time, whether it's her or dealing with the elders in my family, because my grandmother is the oldest in terms of the children from my great grandma. And my great grandmother, her sister, is Pam's mom, you know? So if you can kind of stack stable, you stack it and you understand how that's falling. So the information is what I feel like should be shared more, what runs in the family, so it's understood. And also I feel like we need to talk about how we should be communicating with these doctors and helping each other in terms of how to navigate these doctor offices, because a lot of times that's the problem as well. If you do choose to go to the doctor instead of taking on a more herbal or herbal approach. So I want to make that something that's important. If you can open that dialogue up with your family, please do. I know everybody not gonna be able to do it, but if you can, please do. If you cannot, start by kind of like just getting a little information if you can. You know how to, you know what I mean? So it's ways.
actual trainer was my supervisor on my job. And I asked some of the guys, I need a gym. And they said, well, Sean, he has his own gym in Pelham. I said, okay, cool. So I got with him. And once I got with him, we started that journey. But it wasn't an easy one. And that's why I said motivation. Sometimes that motivation can be where it's just out the door. And then what do you have left? You got to have some type of drive. What's going to drive you to that point of just, you know, kicking it in, eating well, whatever it is, what is that motive that has to keep you going? And sometimes that motivation just ain't enough. So that's kind of what, kind of got me where I need to be.
You are most definitely right. I can say the same thing when it comes to just even this. The motivation of just wanting to do it, it really wasn't that wasn't enough. It was like having to
Mm-hmm.
look at the big picture of the why do you want to do this. So
Hmm.
I most definitely agree with that one.
Yeah,
Most
yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, you got to have that why, because if you don't, then everything else fails. It's a lot of things can fail when you don't understand your reasoning behind it. It can be just because my girlfriend is doing it. I just go, to support her. Then what? Because I mean, in the long run, it can help you, but if you don't have that why in motion, that why sets apart. That's anything we do, not just fitness, but even
Mm-hmm.
though we're talking about fitness, but that why, it jumpstart a lot of things to activate faith too. So you have a different. It just all kind of derived from different things, but that main thing is that that motivation can come away from you sometimes. So what is really embedded in you to make you want to push through?
Every
And you
day,
have to have that
even
in
when you don't
mind.
want to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. You have to have that in mind. I've seen articles where one lady said, I just, some days, and you do be like this. Some days you don't want to go to the gym, but once you get that workout in, you feel better. But
Mm-hmm.
she said her key was to put her gym clothes at the end of her bed and laying them out, to actually have to see it. And once you see it, it's like, okay, connection. I got to get in the gym. This is why I'm going to the gym. So whatever you need to do to jumpstart, and then what happens is it becomes habit. So once it becomes a habit for you, it's no longer motivation that's driving you. It's my habit. It's my lifestyle. So it becomes lifestyle for you. Lifestyle means that you're going to consistently do it.
That's
So
for
it's a
sure.
part of you. Oh, yeah.
That is for sure. So I asked so far in terms of age because you've been working out for some time. What has changed as you got older when it comes to working out?
What has changed? For one, when I started out, I was like 34.
Hmm.
So, of course, now I'll be 42 next month, which
Now that right there, first of all, let's give me a little couple points for my little question. But let's give me a couple of woohoo points as an interviewer because that was struck. But I know that with life and with age, things change. So I definitely want to say me just in general, real quick. Losing as much weight as I did when I was in my very, very early 20s. I think it was 2012. Okay, let me do some calculating. Hold on. Oh, and also bear with me for just 2 seconds. A lot of moving parts right now. Hold on. All right, so I apologize. So again, starting out, man, that early, like I was like 20, pretty much. So during that time, obviously, I'm just kicking in for real. Now, thinking about now when I work out and kind of what's sticking and what's not, man, it definitely hit different. It dang sure hit different, and it's not horrible. Maybe it's maybe it's because I'm just in my early 30s still. it's not as bad. But I'm interested in knowing when I'm kicking into my close to 50, what is that hitting for? You know what I'm saying? What is that? What does that then start to look like? Because, man, when I tell you, my knees alone are like a work in progress. Okay, that alone is a work in progress. So I feel if you can be more consistent, it may help. But for me, taking long gaps of periods between actually consistently working out, it hit different. Now, I don't know if she was consistently working out. If so, woo woo. Because I've heard, because I would like to really become more elite with calisthenics. That's where my arena really is. So going into it, they talk about all the gains and all the progress that you make, in terms of, of course, being able to do more reps and being able to do more things. But you hit like this plateau. So I'm just interested in that journey, and anybody who've ever like or been working out for a long period of time, comment how it has changed for you as well with age. I'm interested in knowing.
To be June. So it's like your age and metabolism.
Mm.
Those two things are key because the older you get, your body it just doesn't function the same way as when you're in your 20s, or I just say even in your teenage years, 20. It's like each decade has its own set of whatever you're gonna go through. Your body just goes through those different things in that particular decade. So in your 20s, your body's doing something. Your 30s, your body's doing something. Your 40s, women, as a woman, you have to go through different, like, mammograms and all this type of stuff. It's like, what? Mammogram? So, it's like different things your body have to go through, and you have to be cognizant of those things, and your metabolism slows down, meaning that the things that you once could eat, it no longer breaks down the same in your body. So where it was burning at first because, you're youngster and you're constantly moving around.
All right, so now that part. So definitely, I agree. They said that your taste buds and everything kind of change as you get older and you evolve. So I could believe that on a spiritual level alone. I can understand how that would correlate, but because your body does start to reject certain things and accept more of other things and start requiring more of other things. Long story short, I feel like also though your level of activeness makes a difference. Also, because you're not out every day doing this and doing that like you used to, typically. Now, for the runners who are out here outside and able to move around and get it in, I'm interested in knowing how that goes. I know for some people, you've heard some things, but I would love to hear from people with two different lifestyles in terms of what they eat. You know what I'm saying? Somebody who's active, they still go out, they still do this. They might even be in the gym, but they don't eat quote unquote healthy, or they don't go by a specific regimen when it comes to what they eat, compared to someone who does and who's just as active. Because I can say back then when I started working out, I was eating still pretty much whatever I wanted to, but I was working out like a lot. Like I was working out hours in a day, for like a couple days straight, and maybe take me like 2 days, 3 days at the most off. And I was not drinking soda. I just started drinking pretty much green tea and water. That was it. And of course, regular fruit juice. I started getting like the apple juice and the other juices from the store, but they were like regular sugary drinks you get out of Dollar General. You know what I mean? They want actual fruit drinks, and that's when I started to look into that. Started looking at the back of the actual bottles and start kind of going over the whole no more than 50 G, so no more than 50 grams of sugar being in one container. You feel me? Especially if it's just one serving size, that's like overload OD. So to look at the cans now and look at this shit, man. First of all, it's already starting out at like 30, right? 30 grams, including 70, 50, XYZ grams of sugar. And I'm like, bro, what? So yeah, honey, it definitely makes a difference. There's a lot of different factors that goes into how it plays out for you.
You're not being still, but the older you get, you become settled, and you tend to sit down and lay down more. So the things that you eat, it sometimes just it sits, and when it starts sitting, then
When it starts sitting, you start looking like me, where you can tell that I have a job where I sit down mostly. And if I'm not outside doing what I need to do or working out in this house, that's when I start to gain my weight. And it's all in the love handles. It's all in the love handles. It all just compacts right there. And my body shape is not helpful. It's not helpful. Where I would love for this weight to go is on down just a little bit, but it don't. So it make a difference. Your body shape make a difference too, baby. But where it all to kind of sit.
okay, I'm in trouble now because now I'm getting a little bit bigger than what I used to be. So, we have a lot of young ones that come in there and we're like hard on them because we're like, if you only knew just from being 34 to being 41 what your body goes through, you can't give it that same beat down. You can do it, but in a different manner. But
Another fact. Now that I have gotten older, another fact that I 100% agree with. You can't keep taking your body through certain things, man, and especially if you ain't recovering for real. You know, your recover time is not larger than your beat down time. I'm gonna use her terms because boy, the older you get, the more things start to weaken in general, especially if you're not building on it. I'm still listening for myself too now, cause this was again 5 years ago, but when my mind was at then and where my mind is now, two totally different places. So
even if you start young, your body be where it's conditioned to do those things. So, it's like, it's crazy.
another fact, let's drop that in. So when it comes to me specifically, hold on, me specifically, I'm just gonna talk about when I worked out the first time, lost all my weight. It was my first time losing that much weight and losing pretty much all of my body fat. Okay, I was doing the Insanity workout by ShAyee. Oh my goodness, still one of the best to this day to me. And I'm gonna, matter of fact, once I'm done, I'm gonna go ahead and order them DVDs because I said I was going to, and I need to go ahead and get them. Confirmation, confirmation. I wish I had the camera on right now. Confirmation, and I just had weight check in as my notification that came up on my phone. Oh man. They let you know, baby, when you in alignment, I tell you. But listen, so, so I I still have definition from back then that I built up. Again, this is 2012. I still had definition from 2012. And being that I was still kind of doing all these cardio style things in my life, it allowed my body to kind of keep that form. And so now, anytime I work out, I'm really just continuously building on that. So now, if you were to see my legs, my calf muscles, my arms, you would think I work out still, even though I've been slacking. Okay.
Crazy, man. It's like that metabolism, it goes a long way. And it's like, um, the older you get, your muscles they break down. So that's why it's important also because the more muscles you have, the more calories you burn. When you lose muscles, your body burns less calories. So that goes back to what I was saying, your metabolism. So if you're taking in a lot of calories and you're not doing anything about it, of course you don't have a choice but to expand. So when you expand, then now here the health problems come because now it's either lower or upper body, and they tell you different things about that. So you just have to be careful about that. So that's why it's important to do strength training when you work out. That's why.
Oh, yes. All right, so now, for sure, I feel, me personally, cardio and strength resistance are like the two best things to have in your workout. Because while you're burning through cardio, and I know some say that cardio don't, I feel this is what I did. I did a lot of cardio for my body type. My body type needs full body workout. So for me, doing cardio and then doing the strength resistance is how I started to really build and bulk my muscles. Like, I use the example of like it being a pump. My muscles are like a tube, right? And for every push up, for every leg up, whatever I do, it's like air being pumped into it. And the amount of force I'm putting into the pump, obviously, it's going to be the force that is going into it. You feel what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying? So that's how I look at it, and that is how it kind of played out for me. So I recommend, I think it's three, it can be more. I think it's three main body types when it comes to working out. Figure out what yours is, what aligns the most with you, and go from there. And they typically will tell you what kind of workouts that'll work best for you, so forth and so on. So check that out.
Why you add the weights. It doesn't have to be heavy weights, but if you know that you're going in a different arena with the fitness, then heavy weights, whatever. But it can be light weights, and you just use those light weights to kind of burn more calories because a lot of people don't understand the science behind the weights. You can start out doing just body weight, but burning the weights helps a lot. Yeah.
Which would make sense. Obviously, you're putting more of a load on in terms of, especially if you already have a small body frame and you ain't putting, you know what I mean? You ain't got that much to put behind what you're doing to activate it. So figure out what level you at and what makes the most sense. You might be small already, but you have the fat that you're trying to lose. Or you're small, you're just trying to tone. So figure out what works for you.
Yeah, I was I think I started off the way I started off with this was 2014, no 2012. Yeah,
Hmm.
the way I started
Yeah.
off was like it was working out, just doing ab workouts.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I honestly started building up all that. Then it went to cardio. Then I also incorporated the change of my diet. And so it
Okay.
was like all of that, and I did a lot of cardio. I think I was doing what is the Kimbell, I think it's Kimbell. Where you lift, I was
Hmm.
doing I think maybe 50. It was 50, but then I got into the 10-pound dumbbells, and
Hmm.
I will say that most definitely did like help with that like I said strength when it comes to that power push, that pushing through.
Hmm.
That most definitely came in handy and came into play, and it helped. I feel like a lot too when I stopped drinking drinks
Oh yeah,
because
that's salt and sugar. Yeah.
woo, that was one of
Yeah.
the main things. And after that, I don't think I.
Again, I told y'all, bear with me when it comes to kind of me kind of trying to express myself here and correlate because I was trying to multitask. It's my first time doing this. So I'm like trying to keep up with the questions, listen to her, and also kind of, so bear with me.
They can really drink drinks the same anymore.
Yeah, yeah, drinks. That's one of the things we try to get our clients. We had a girl, I think she was drinking like 7 drinks or so, and
Yeah.
once she cut, and you're not, see, the thing, what you have to understand, everything becomes like, when I say a habit, you have to work on it. So you can't just say, I'm gonna quit something cold turkey, because a lot of times you go back to it, and it defeats the purpose of trying to, work out, eat healthy, but I've cut something that I really want to have. And that takes major discipline, that even some things that, even with me being as far as I am, when my body craves something, it's either you work through it some kind of way or you give in to it. So
Mhm.
my way of giving into it is that, like, I got a bag of Doritos up there right now, and my Doritos are like, I hadn't had them in a long time, but they used to be when I moved up here, that used to be my go-to potato chips. And then everybody, they got them more now in the white cheddar popcorn. That those two things used to be my thing. And now that, like I said, back then when I was eating them, they went on the shelves like that. So
Mhm.
um, those more of my go-to things. And when my body craved it, it was like, I'm gonna eat them. But now it's like, okay, in order to eat them, I gotta set a goal. So I got a little bag, about $1.25 bag, whatever the bag was. I thought it was really high for a $2 bag, but anyway. So, but I got the bag, and I wrote on the bag, it says, I have to get to 140 pounds in order to have them. And then when I get to it, it's like, do you want to risk it all? Do you want to risk gaining, X amount of weight or whatever it is, or inches? Do you want to risk that when you've worked so hard for it? So it's up there in the cabinet as we speak right now. And, it's just some things, your body, you have to allow it to, you have to allow yourself to have it. Because if you don't, then you'll put yourself in, I'll say, a desperation mode to where you'll overeat it.
Mhm.
You want it so bad to where you're overindulging it, instead of just breaking it down and eating what it actually says on the wrapper.
Now, boy, potatoes in general, my gosh. I tell you, I just want to say this: habit is a motherfucker, okay? And I mean that in any part of your life. Having a habit is a motherfucker. And you really do have to replace it with something of some sort. And clamp down on your why. Let's circle back to the why. Clamp down on your why, because that's the only thing that's going to truly keep you grounded during this transitional state. And that's from whatever it is you're trying to, like, get out of the habit of or stop being addicted to. I've had quite a few addictions in my life. Then they ain't just what a lot of people would think when it comes to the word addiction. You know what I'm saying? It's not like that. I never did a hard drug a day in my life, right? But addictions are very real, and it plays out from a plethora of different things. It can be from trauma, from past experiences, from it's different reasons why you latched on to it. You feel what I'm saying? Some people can shake a habit like ain't nothing because they don't have an addictive personality. That's just what it is. But again, that's why I say you need to know who you are and what's what in your life. I loved the idea of kind of setting a goal, and it takes discipline, it takes restraint, it takes you doing it more than one time, sometimes as well before you get it right. But as long as, again, you are willing to try, like I started this out with, as long as you are willing to try, you'll succeed. But we just have to really want this shit. Okay? All right now. You gotta really want it, meaning you're gonna keep putting in the work, the repetition to make it happen.
If it says have 12 of them, you're supposed to have 12 because it's a serving size. And a lot of people don't understand the labels on the back. If it says 130 calories per 12 chips, I'll say, or 3 cookies, if it's telling you 130 calories, you sitting there eating up, you know, 24 chips, that's another 130 calories. If you're sitting there eating up four more cookies, you add on, and it's like, but they're bad calories. They're not good calories. They're bad calories. And a lot of people don't understand the labels that's printed on the back. It's there for a reason.
I'm definitely one of those people in regards to not counting calories. Now, that I don't ever feel like I'm going to really get into. I may, who knows, but I feel like once what I eat changed over completely to what it is that I truly desire to get to at a point in my life, I do not think it's going to be as necessary to count calories because I understand for me what works in regards to how much I eat when it comes to certain things, right? I look at it from that standpoint, not from a number standpoint. And I understand that, for example, and again, because I have been looking into certain things, I may get to that point. But right now, my main thing is the portion size of whatever it is I'm consuming, whether it's a positive or a negative thing, so to speak. Because let's talk about something really quick, like grape juice. Juicing a grape versus eating a grape as is. So anytime you juice something, of course you're extracting, right? And it settles, it sets, it builds. It's you got to think about fermenting, right? Sugar ferments. Is how it also turns into alcohol and so forth and so on. Okay, so the content becomes a lot different. So you have to be mindful of how you also consume certain things that you're eating, right? Frying a potato compared to just eating the potato regular is a difference. You feel what I'm saying? So there's a lot of factors and a lot of things to still consider on the journey that do not have the label. You know what I mean?
It's there.
Most definitely. I agree 1,000%. 1,000%.
Yeah.
One
Yeah,
thousand.
yeah.
Whoa. Yeah, yeah. That's. And that's funny because I would see that and I would bypass the calculation. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
When you look at it in long
Hmm.
terms, because I also need to learn more about calories and how that kind of works. So that's definitely something. And speaking of that, is it any resources, anything that's a real go to where people can kind of get a rundown of things like that, like just calories and metabolism?
Well, what you can do, a good start would be like to get yourself on a program. That's a good start. And the programming is more or less like you can take basic exercises like squats, you can do push-ups, and then you can do like planks. So you take those three exercises and you do 10 reps. 10 reps is how many times you do that particular exercise. So if you do 10 push-ups, 10 squats, and then 10-second plank, so like this is week one, okay? Week one, you're doing just 10 of them, right? But as the weeks go on and the stronger you become with it, because you'll do it 3 days a week out of that particular week, or if you want to push yourself to do, more than that, but we recommend, 2 to 3 days when you first start out. Take those basic exercises and movements and like I said, do them 2 to 3 times a week. The second week, you want to add either more reps to it, or if you want to do like so like a range or different variation of it. So like you take your push-ups and you do what they call plyometric push-ups, meaning that you do the push-up and you come into a reach with it. Come up, go back down to the push-up, come into a reach. Those are what they call plyometrics. Um, Squats when you actually add a weight or something like that, or even add what now some people are calling booty bands.
Hmm.
So you can add that, or you can do squats and walk with the squats, walking squats or something like that. So then with your plank, you can increase like from 10.
I do apologize about interrupting, but I just see that her movement, and I'm now thinking, is she on an exercise ball? this is the perfect time for me to be thinking about this because this chair that I'm in has to go. And at one point in time, I don't know what happened to that idea of me sitting at work on an exercise ball. I gotta get to that because I have one. I just need to put some air in it, a little bit, just a little air. I don't like it too firm because I need to be able to not be thinking that mug gonna bust. But anyway, if I you know what I'm saying? So yeah, that just made me think about that. I'm gonna go back a little bit for y'all though.
Or something like that. So then with your plank, you can increase like from 10 seconds to 20-second planks. So
Oh, one last thing, my bad. And the reason why, because it may have not connected for some people. The reason why I think it's switching because sitting down, if you work from home especially, or if you work anywhere, but more so if you work from home because you can get on the exercise ball, baby. The circulation in your legs start to become poor, and it starts to cause restless legs, and that is something already for me being a person who's prone to certain things. Poor circulation is definitely not something that I need, and lately I've been experiencing certain things, and with the timeline of XYZ and this happening, I understand why, but the solution is what needs to happen. So that might be a good idea for anybody if you're experiencing restless legs. If you don't know what restless legs is, it's kind of also like your nerves. It just feel like you have that irritation in your legs. It's like it just can't be still, or it feels awkward. It's typically due to poor circulation or something dealing with your nerves, which kind of all wraps into the same thing once you start to do research. But consider that, or just stand up for a while.
then with your plank, you can increase like from 10 seconds to that, or you can do squats and walk with the squats, walking squats or something like that. So then with your plank, you can increase like from 10 seconds to 20-second planks. So each week you want to increase in everything that you do. So that to me would be a good way to start if you want to just in reference to burning calories and just want to have something to start, because a lot of people get overwhelmed by well, I just don't know what to do. It's like, are we still here?
We good.
Okay. I just heard it. Okay. But those three exercises right there are like basic exercise movements you can kind of incorporate into your just being at home. You may not have time to make it to the gym. You can just do it right there in your living room, right there, even in your kitchen, um, in your bedroom, and just incorporate that into your workout or into your daily. And that right there help. So
1000%. I am a very much so an advocate for working out at home. I know some people feel that they need to have something to look forward to in terms of a destination to get them away from their home so they're not distracted and start doing other things. So I get that. Again, that comes back to knowing yourself. If you are the type that need to go to a gym, just really more so for the outing, to get out and make things happen, do that. Or if you just need the equipment, then do that. If you feel like you need the equipment but you want to work out at home, I'm going to be completely honest with you. You do not need the equipment to get things done. You can start out very cheap. Go get you 2 dumbbells. You pick your size if you want to, kind of start small and get a little. You do that. What I recommend is going in the store and trying out the different sizes. See which one gives you just a little bit of an issue when it comes to lifting. And I say that's where you start. That's my opinion, right? Some people like to use the ones where they can lift it up, just it has no resistance. I feel like that's pointless because you can just get a can. You know what I mean? You can get anything out of the house for that. But start somewhere. And once you get that, you can get you some little gloves, of course. when it comes to continuously lifting those weights, for sure. But you can start with that. You can use anything in your house. You have a couch, you have a wall, you can use all of those different things to help you. You have some pillows. You can stack some pillows up on the floor, lay on top of them, baby, and do you some leg lifts. You can get in all fours, lift your leg back. There's a lot of things you can do. Your body weight, trust, is enough, and it again depends on what weight you're already starting with. That makes a difference. So if you are someone that has a bit more weight on you, then you can utilize that weight to your advantage. But also know that you need to be mindful of your form, because that is important as well. And form meaning how your body is positioned when you're doing these workouts. You don't need to slouch your body. You need to make sure your body is lined up correctly. Have your back straight. Don't be lazy when you're working out, because it'll hurt you more so than it will benefit you. So don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. Just like she was saying, don't make it harder than it gotta be.
That's what I
Yeah.
used to tell my friend who was so adamant about just having to go to the gym. And I was like, I understand that the gym is there for a reason, but you had to
Right.
understand that you also have resources where you can get in your living room and do some of the same things. You don't have to, because if the gym closed today, what are you going to do? You know?
And then see, you have to take in mind too, like we was just talking about some of this stuff this morning too, where you just have clients. Like I reach this whole time we've been on lockdown or whatever. I've been sending out, I won't say daily, but weekly. I try to send out something positive and some kind of motivation to let them, keep moving, whatever goals, keep that locked in and move towards it. Even though we're on lockdown, but see, you have to understand there's some clients or even people out here who just need that gym, whether it's just a outlet or if they just need that trainer where they keep them held accountable.
Okay, bingo. Bingo, bingo. And I'm glad that part was there. Because I hadn't watched this, y'all, in like 4 years at least. But that right there. So some people need the motivation from someone else, somebody who they feel knows more to help them along the journey. Don't I just don't want people to make excuses, right? And I when I say excuses, meaning there's one thing where it's like this is something that helps me. Helping is the one thing, right? Is it the end all be all? Is the other part that we have to get real about. Because again, if you don't have anyone, are you going to hold yourself up from getting it done? If you don't have the money to go, right? Are you going to just keep holding yourself up, or are you going to figure out a different way? That's the only thing that I would state in counter to that. Otherwise, I completely agree. I know people who need that motivation, and I always felt like I was that person until I got it myself and I had a stronger why. It hit different.
Right,
you
right.
know, and
Understood.
I right. So sometimes they may just need that gym for that. There's nothing wrong. Like with me, I can come home and get it. I can get it in Mississippi, right there in front of mama's house, and I'll take out a job.
Exactly.
That's just the dedication behind it and the
Right.
discipline behind it. But
Understood.
everybody's not like that, right? Everybody's not like that because they want that push. Somebody's telling you got some more in you, that motivation. It's just different psychologically because
Right.
it's more
Okay.
mental than it is,
Okay.
physical a lot of times. So you have to take that into play too.
Definitely understood. Definitely understood. So let me ask you
Agreed. Everybody makeup ain't the same.
this, because you did say you all was taking like a rest day today. How
Hmm.
do you kind of deal with sore muscle pain and actually properly take care of your body when it is time for the rest day?
Well, I won't say it's properly. I'm gonna tell you what you probably should do. Because I'm training for something. So I may go where, like I said, when we take you as a beginner, When you first start and we say 2 to 3 days out of the week, that that's really just to get you where you're motivated enough to come in. Some people, they start with 2 days, and then once they start liking it, they add the third day, and they may add additional days. But for me, tell you the truth, Friday is my rest day. But a lot of times I've gone 7 days straight workouts. I've gone 6 days straight. And like I said, today being Friday, we've gone all week. Friday being the rest day. Tomorrow and Sunday, I may hit it. Then it may be Saturday, I may hit it, and Sunday is another rest day. But you're supposed to get at least, we try to tell you at least 2 rest days, because you want to give your body time enough to recover. Because what a lot of people don't understand is, even though you finish that workout, your body's still burning. Your muscles.
Bing, ding, ding, ding. Another check. For freaking sure. Real quick on the rest day situation. So, I took the advice of taking more rest days than I should have. And that was honestly my downfall, to be honest with y'all. From that 2020, that 2012 situation, that was my downfall. And I'm not blaming it on the person, grandma. I'm not blaming it on her, but she was just, of course, seeing how much I was working out. And just like, hey, and the same thing, ironically, she tell her the same thing, even to this day when she, see her and stuff. You taking care of yourself? I'm like, yeah. And make sure so it was definitely something that was necessary. And I for sure agree with at least 2 days, because those muscles can definitely they definitely can lose their attachment. Okay, so definitely take care of that body, man. The rest days are important. It's cool with going hard, but like she said, she was training to be a bodybuilder, so it makes a difference, of course. But I want to be real also, because she has had some things also to occur that she's had a few issues with, and that could be part of the reason why. And this is like after this, interview. So definitely, I want you all to take that into consideration, making sure you put your rest days in between, because like she said, your body's still burning, so your body's also still building and has having time to still work on your behalf. So just because you're not working out don't mean nothing's happening and your body's not still doing what it do. Because actually, a lot of times that's what it needs to catch up.
Your calories, you're still burning. So it could be where in the middle of the day, where you get out the shower and you come out the shower, you're like, dang, I'm still sweating, because you're still burning. So throughout the day, you're still burning okay.
Fact. I think that's like one of my favorite things about working out, after that whole feeling of like you can feel that your body is still going through a process.
Right. And that's what a lot of people don't understand, that science of it. So in order for your body to properly heal, you have to take those rest days, and they tell you to stretch. You stretch.
A fact again. Definitely. I recommend stretching even if you don't work out. I recommend stretching as much as you can every day, even if you don't work out. I don't care what you do in your life. I don't care if you just do house chores, if you sit your ass on the couch all day and watch TV and eat potato chips. Get your ass up and stretch. You know what I'm saying? I don't care what the lifestyle is. Everybody needs to stretch, because you got stress, tension from stress, from strains of how you sleep, if you don't sleep properly. It's so many different things. So I am an advocate for stretching every day if you can.
Make sure you drink plenty of water. I drink 73 ounces of water in my hydro jug. So um, what I had to do, being that I'm here, and a lot of times I was missing water. So what I started doing this particular week, I would, I won't say half it up. I'll probably start with 40 ounces, and then I'll come, 40 ounces, and then I'll turn around and get 30 in. That'll put me, or 33 or so, and that'll put me at the 73 that I'm supposed to have. So I kind of like have to psych myself out, because running to that bathroom, it gets boring. And it's like, okay, I just came off of here. So it's like, you have to do certain things as far as just making sure your body is healing like it's supposed to, because you don't want to overdo it. And a couple things could happen. Overdoing it could be where it puts you in the mindset where you don't want to come back. Okay. Um, you can also risk getting hurt, injured, because those muscles haven't taken the necessary time to heal itself. But when you are sore, that's basically saying that those muscles, you're not used to using those muscles, and what they're doing, they're actually responding.
Mhm.
They're responding to what you're doing. So it's where you have.
That is my all-time favorite part about working out. Is that feeling of the soreness the next day. Me and my mama, we got a problem. Okay, she don't work out, honey, for real, at all, baby. Okay, but she live framed, honey, live framed. But what I'm talking about is that the soreness. I don't know what it is. Anybody else like sore muscle pain? I know it's somebody out there that had like they kind of just like that feeling, especially when you know you done got it in and you get a good massage. Ah, it's nothing like it. Nothing like it.
Have to when you
And I have a cold plunge that I need to use. It's been raining like heck, and the summer just really kicked in, and I've been doing a lot of things, and I also hadn't been working out like I was planning on doing. But I want to get in this cold plunge after a good workout because I want to know how much of a difference that makes. I love the cold too. I'm a winter baby, so I know I probably sound crazy to some people right now, like girl, what? But yeah, it's a ting.
lay down, that's the recovery part. When you actually lay down and go to sleep, your body is processing everything. It's like a car when you put oil in it. It's refreshing itself. You have to, rinse it out and whatever you do for the oil change. Well, your body's the same way with you, with laying down, processing, and whatever's coming out you, using the bathroom, all those type of things are taking place. So when you sleep, that's the proper rest that you need for your body to come back to where it needs to be. So, a lot of times you will be sore when you wake up. I've been to the point where I'm like rolling, like Humpty Dumpty rolling. Like,
But
what
you,
did I do?
that used to be the thing that I used to love, and that's when I knew that I did what I was supposed to do.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
that would be the goal. I feel like, well, I ain't gonna say if you're not hurting the next day that you ain't doing no, but it's like if you're not feeling it, then what was you doing?
Hmm.
That was my
Hmm.
thing that I used to love to work out, and out like you said about the days in a row. That was
Yeah.
my thing. Grandma had to tell me like, you gotta take a break. I was like, I understand that, and I do sometimes, but sometimes I would go like 7 days straight and be ready to hop
Hmm.
into it. But that little rolling around and barely can
Oh,
move,
yeah.
and that cold air is
Oh,
what used to
yeah.
get me all the time. So
Yeah.
I definitely.
And I'm interested in knowing the difference because the cold air was stiffing my body up. But they say if you do a cold plunge, it it, it helps. I guess because nothing's actually penetrating. The cold air is like coming in, it's penetrating, but it's penetrating in a different way. Maybe I don't know. Cause it would immediately draw my muscles up, and I just be like cramped. But I feel cold plunge would be a little different. So I don't know. I gotta test that one out.
Agree. Definitely agree with that one. Yes, indeed. You pretty much have motivated me to get back into it, and this time around, just knowing a little bit more in terms of detail and just learning your body. That's what I'm gonna have to get more into. So
Hmm.
I most
Hmm.
definitely
And you
appreciate
have
that.
to, well, you have to understand, just like I said, what other people do, it may not be for you. So, if it's where you know what your body needs at that moment, then you do what it is that your body needs. Don't overdo it, but do what it is that your body does. It,
Right.
it needs that. Just like even with your grandmother asked on one of my videos, she asked the question, "Do you ever
Yes.
drink water?" I was like, I said, yeah. I said, but by the time I walk and go get it, I can be through. So that's how my mindset is. And once I finish the workout or that particular circuit, I'm chug a lugging the water. That's the part y'all don't see. So, and it's just, sometimes I can drink that water and I can cramp up so bad,
That's the
because,
thing for me. That's why I be
right,
kind of scared to kind of do it sometimes,
yeah,
and that's why I try not to get
you
cold water.
Right, right. And I've never like lately here for the last, I'll say this year, I haven't really drinking cold substances because it keeps you bloated. And a lot of people don't understand, what cold
Woo, boy. Yes, yes, yes. Woo, man. Shout out to my grandma. I just told her this the other day. I just saw her end of July. I said, I appreciate you so much for letting me know about drinking cold drinks, cold substances all the time. It will stiffen you up and it can harm you in multiple ways from what I've been informed in the past. I don't keep a lot of whys in my mind once I learned that something is not good, because at the time that I learned the why, it made sense enough for me to just understand why I don't need to do it, and therefore there was enough for me. So I apologize if I don't always have a why to give you all. Just do your own research, baby. Okay? I just give you as much as I can, and if I do have the why, I give you the why. Other than that, if I don't, okay. But that has changed also in my workouts and in my life in general, not drinking cold substances all the time. And especially being someone who is, I don't even want to use the word, but someone who has low blood. Okay. And on top of that, when you are already someone who has low blood, you love eating ice, because that was a thing for me. You love eating ice and all of that good stuff. It's a problem, baby. Okay, so it's a lot of stuff. That's what I'm saying. I've been through a lot of different things, little things that I've learned throughout my life, which is why I'm like a book of a multitude of things. You know what I'm saying? I've I lived such a life, man, to only be in my early 30s, but it for sure will make a difference. So for y'all people who love drinking cold substances only, reconsider just drinking some room temperature water at least. Just pick one substance that you're going to drink at room temperature always, and see how your body reacts. Hopefully it's water that you choose.
drinks or cold water or just cold liquids can do to your body. And as like I said, when you're a woman, there's some things that you really need to pay attention to with that because like um I just had when was eating salads and stuff, we had to take the cheese out because I was like, well, I want to get these abs going. He said, well, the dairy gotta go. I was like, the cheese,
Mhm.
you know. So
Mhm.
and then too, the cheese was keeping me bloated. And it's like, okay, girl, you lactose, so why are we on this page? You know. So what I do take though, which is a good thing for anybody, especially women, probiotics. I use a Lunny New probiotics. It's called digestion on there, and that helps get rid of what they call the bad guts and give you good guts or whatever, good bacteria and bad bacteria. So you don't want to get rid of all your bacteria, but you do
I didn't fully understand that then. I understand exactly what she's talking about now.
want to get rid of some things that are not supposed to be there. And that's what I take 3 times a day with a meal. So it has yeah, it does its job. I'm gonna say that. I don't have that
Yeah.
bloating feeling, and I can tell a major difference. And I actually got some girlfriends that ordered some in, and they're gonna start taking some themselves. So I try to you know tell and teach, but I don't want to feel like I don't want nobody to feel like I'm being uh a drill sergeant about it.
Mhm.
I'm trying to be that servant of, helping people.
Right.
And that's all I want, whether it doesn't matter what, race card you have, it's just I'm trying to help the masses, as much as I can. If it's something that I can say or something that I can do. I'm gonna do just that. A lot of my clients are like, thank you for the motivation, even just you doing what you do, because I could be standing by and I'm like, you got two more in, let me have, get one more in, just do one more. And when they do that one more, I say, give me one more. That's your two, and you don't even realize it. So it's, just certain things you can do to help, just fitness wise. So that even with the numbers, it's not even about the quantity, it's about the quality of what you get. So
Bingo again. That goes back to the conversation of reps when you work out. That goes back to what I was stating also with the dumbbells, right? Like yeah, you can definitely still get the smaller size. It's just me the way that I think. It's just like it's like paper, like you lifting paper. You just paid to lift paper, you know. So that's from that standpoint. But yes, the 5 pound dumbbells could work out for you. You know what I mean? But it's really about form, which is the quality part. So you're doing the reps, but what's your form? That's the quality. Because you can do as many reps, and a lot of people think they rep, but if you don't have the proper form, it's not going to the area it needs to. The energy is not going to where it needs to go to activate the part it needs to. Because when you start working out and you start to learn, especially if you get into learning about your muscles, I have not gotten to that point yet. I have a book about the body, the human body. It breaks down all the different systems and things. Once I get to, excuse me, once I get to that point, then I'm interested in how I can work that. Right now, my main goal is inner thighs. And I think differently about things, which is why I don't always go to books. I go by what I'm feeling because that's going to tell me what I'm working. Some people need to know. So if you need to know in a like you're a visual learner, you need to that's kind of like your go-to. Then go that route of learning your muscles, and then you start to look for specific workouts that'll help. And then also, typically, if you're watching someone who's doing fitness, they're going to tell you about form for that certain workout or for workouts in general, or you just look at their form, right? So, quality, quality, quality.
um, that's what we pretty much offer at that gym. We're not a gym, we're a studio, which we're much smaller, but we have anything a gym could want in it. We have it. So I'm actually getting ready to step into some new things with it because I told my trainer, I said, I think I'm gonna have to come on up and at the box, because I didn't want to, be where I was sexualizing, myself by being a certain kind of way or looking a certain kind of way. And that's what we have to get out that mind frame of that magazine image, that look and be who you're going to be. And I know my body, it forms a different way every time I put it in a certain kind of category that I want to, pursue, and I have to be mindful of it. So one of my clients said, well, you can still keep it classy, if you want to be where you show so much up top, but keep whatever down low, and then switch it up, show so much down low and keep so much up top. I think, well, it makes sense. So, that's one of the things I know I have to kind of show because everybody want to be visual. Everybody want to see what you want to see. So, instead of
For sure. Um, yeah, yeah, especially in her field, like they want to see the results. And I know I recall just from this conversation right now, I'm remembering when she gets to the part about looking, and this is part of the conversation, but looking a certain way to people, right? Also, I low key want to have a sleeper bill. My only thing is, I know I don't want to get bulky as fuck, right? I don't want to do that. I want to become lean muscle. That is my goal. Lean muscle. I want to have a sleeper bill. I have shoulders. I have broad shoulders. I naturally have an hourglass frame. The only thing is because my weight sits around, because I sit for work, how my weight is currently falling, and I don't have, excuse me, and I don't have my hips. I never had a child, and I don't have my hips. I still got my, I still got my non-mother hips. So it's a lot of factors also that go into how your body shapes and how it looks in the end as well. So you have to be mindful about what you want your body to look like and be realistic about what your body frame is. So your body shape, your body silhouette. Now, I learned about body silhouette more so from the fashion industry, like through that line of knowledge. And that's something I just really looked at, to look at all of the different shapes that it shows. But it's very, very useful. And then once you also go ahead and look up, as I told you, your body type when it comes to working out, that explains how your body hold weight in general. Then you start to learn a lot, okay, about yourself, about your body, how it all plays out. That help you start to create a plan. Also, that goes back to the conversation about what specific types of workout you start doing. Like, are you doing more cardio? Are you doing strength building? And so forth and so on. Do you need to eat more calories to bulk? Do you need to eat less and you need to eat lean? So your goals matter, and your body type already matters as well, because I'm gonna let her talk about that part.
You typing and saying that they want to see as well as that, and I can understand that too. So I know my body has to become the product. I understand that. So
Yeah,
I'm
that
trying to put into that. Yeah, it has to, because if I can't be like, you see a lot of football coaches, they can coach a team, but you look at the body, you're like, how?
yeah.
But that's over the years, they're just doing whatever. But like I showed the booty bands, I'm actually getting ready to do some classes, booty classes and stuff, abs and booty. I just got to think of a name with that, so I'm working on that in my head too. And I'm waiting on Phil with the hip hop step aerobics. He does those. He's a twin. He's out of Philadelphia, and I got to get his certification in order to carry the class. So I'm waiting on this Corona, I call it Corona Bear, but I'm waiting for this to
Mhm.
be lifted, and then I'll go and do what I need to do with that, get in that class and get certified for that, and make some things happen, because that's just where we are. A lot of people do want the fitness side of it, but I think I can implement, even though we're doing abs, even though we're doing the booty part of it. You just can't. A lot of people want to target. You can't target. It has to be an overall, like you said, the cardio as well as the weightlifting. You have to do an overall, because even with me being as small as I am, my midsection is still where I'm still having to work on it, because it's an overall thing.
Yeah,
I can want the big legs, I can want the big arms or whatever like that, but you still, that when you do stuff like that, it's called sculpting, and you can, but it's still an overall type of thing. You can sculpt the body to look like you want it to look, and then that's when it's the bodybuilding type of thing, when you start sculpting. And you can basically do what you need to do as far as just making little things like that change. But a lot of people just, I don't know. It's a lot of misconceptions behind it. And, even when you see certain people, um, those spin classes, you're looking at them like, wow, they got muscle tone just from doing that. No, no,
that part.
no, no. They're actually in the gym working out as well, because
So you heard that right. So now listen, we can desire what we want. I just told you I don't have the hips, right? They ain't there. Okay, they're just not. I know that your hips spread once you have a child and you get into your final form. I know it's not final, but you get what I'm saying. And I don't have that yet. And I know that I can do certain things to widen my hip frame, my hip structure a little bit, but it still is a thing that I have to get into when it comes to sculpting to really and it takes time. I've been watching some people, like I said, the calisthenics is what I'm really into, and I've been watching some people, and man, it's just amazing what the body can do, but it's also understanding what the body can't do, specifically your body, right? So be mindful, don't be discouraged, even though you might not be heavy in the back, but you would like to get thicker. There are ways to do so, but you just have to be mindful of who you are and what's in your genetics. Okay? All right.
Doing a lot of cardio, it tends to loosen where your muscles still are breaking down.
And that is exactly why I said you also have to make sure you do some strengthening, because that right there, cardio is burning, is breaking down, right? And then you just look flabby. So you have to do something to tighten and strengthen along the way. I'm I got some pictures from back then. Like I have some pictures, some regular pictures. I don't have a lot of full body pictures. It's one picture I'm thinking about in my head in particular that will show y'all everything for real. But I'm gonna have to kind of blur a couple things out. I wasn't naked now. It could be it could be used as a swimsuit situation, but I was in panties and bra, so that's the thing. So I don't want to yeah, I just gotta be mindful of how I go about doing that. But y'all will get to see like the breakdown and the shape. So as we continue to kind of talk about everything, health, mentally, spiritually, the garden, the woodworking, as we continue to talk about different things along this journey on my platform, I will be definitely going through some pictures and things. So just stay tuned.
And you look the part, but you're not strong. So the cardio is not bad because it's cardiovascular. So it's helping what it needs to help. But at the same instance, the actual strength part of it becomes weakened because you've done so much cardio. And then when you try to pick up the weight, it's like, oh, that's heavy. Yeah, it's heavy because now instead of building at the same time you were doing cardio, you should have been building with the weights and then the cardio. You have certain days you want to do your cardio, certain days you want to lift your weights. That's cool. And that's how you kind of can target certain things like that. But
I'm gonna clear up what I think she's saying, right? It's instead of you just kind of doing cardio and not actually doing the strength building, you're just left with what you're left with. But once you incorporate them, it don't have to be the same exact day. It can be, of course. But once you incorporate them together in this period of time that you're going to be working on yourself, that is when you're doing both and you're having the benefit of both, basically, which is what I was explaining in regards to what I went through. And as a matter of fact, before I forget, give me one good second. See, I told y'all I had it up here now. I told y'all I'm looking for it. Girl, when did it go up? Girl, this was only a couple dollars, girl. When this go up, this is crazy work. Nah, but this is, man, boy. Let's see. Because I found it on eBay. How much is... Girl, this ain't the one, though. I need the one that I had, girl. See, here we go. See, I was going to get it for $20. If they had everything that was in here, girl, you know how people be lying. But okay, that's just two. Girl, let me see. Upper body training, insane abs. Okay, so that's just two. Baby, 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 please leave. Thank you. All right. Now this is saying, okay, 10 disc DVD set. Now they said 10 disc, but what they at? Anyway, all right, baby. We gonna see, cause boy, I ain't lying to you. This this is it'll definitely get you right now. It'll definitely get you right. Yes, yes. All right, all right, all right. Um, let's keep it rolling.
You have to work the overall body. And then if you want to expand on wanting, the bigger hips and the smaller waist, then you got to get all that into play. So, you know,
Yeah, because
yeah.
that was actually gonna be one of my questions, just about, is it actually attainable, like, for you to have, kind of like you said, the sculpting part where you want certain body parts to look a certain way. Like, is that actually
Mhm.
something that can be done without it being like out of whack still, or either
Right, right.
overdone in one area and not another?
Yeah, and see, like a lot of things, like with my clients, I try to promote being healthy first.
Right.
When you promote that and you prioritize, you tend to stick more with that. And when the results start happening, then when you want to reach out into like a different level of fitness, then you can. And it's like, when you tap into like your body fat and knowing those levels, then it's like, okay, we can start looking at the sculpting part, because now we got the simple things out of the way. And like I said, the most important thing is to be healthy. So in any means necessary to be healthy, that's what we promote. Um, and that's just your overall goal should be wanting to strength train. So once you strength train, then it'll bring all that down, your body weight, your body fat. And a lot of people don't even know what their body fat is. It's just like, okay, those are things before you say, well, this is what I want to look like. Well, what did you see that at? Because your body, and a lot of things a lot of people don't understand is that your frame, if your genetics say that you're not gonna be that way, I can't make that for you.
That's why I was.
That's just something we can target those muscle groups, but if it's just not there, it's just not there.
Hey,
So, we
hey, listen, listen. That right there is the reality, baby. You know, I finally just started getting a little booty back here. It took me this long to start like getting a booty back here. That's the plump for real. And baby, this is years in the making. Of course, as we get older, things shift and our bodies settle in different ways. But man, when it's not there, it's just not there, baby. It's just not. And we don't have hips. My dad's side of the family, they got the hips, but I didn't really inherit them hips. Okay, I just didn't. Thinking to my granddad's mom's side. I don't know his dad's side, but his mom's side, baby, the hips ain't there. Thinking about my grandma on both sides. I don't recall the hips being there. But yeah, my great grandma, she was short. She had the little, I'm saying, she had a little woo woo babuki. Yeah, that didn't go too far. Okay.
can, a good program, where we combine, focusing on total body, like compound movements where you're working more than just one muscle group at a time. So, um, it's just, sometimes my workouts, I have different ways I may write them up. My workouts may consist of you doing, a squat, curl press. That's three movements in one. It'll kill you for a minute, they say, but it don't. It just get your heart rate up because you're doing three motions, you're doing three movements. So, but it helps. So, a lot of people don't understand those type of things when it comes down to just, the simple stuff. They just want to lose weight. Well, why? You want to lose weight and then I want to look like this. No, he's,
You
like I
said the
said,
key thing.
the genetic side
Yeah,
of
you said the
it.
key thing. That's the thing that I felt like was ultimately what it was, because it's like it would depend on basically how you're already made up and shaped, and then
Oh
you're
yeah.
building on top of it.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, being realistic is most definitely the first thing you need to do. Be realistic with yourself about what you're trying to obtain. If you don't already have the cheeks, then you don't really have many cheeks to build on.
Mm-mm,
So
mm-mm. And a lot of people don't understand, you're not made to be slim. You know, we have to work with a certain weight goal, and we have to just, aim for that because like, Monique, the comedian, and, I don't have any, discredit about her, but, for a long time, she wasn't even happy in her own body. And it was just always, you skinny bees and stuff like that. And it you know, kind of made me think about some things because, people can suffer, in an inner mindset, wanting to be something so bad that they use negative ways of trying to get there. And she made movies about it and everything, even did her stand-ups and stuff about, well, I won't say being small, but it was just like a thing of where she was, hating that particular group of women.
mm-hmm.
And now she's lost whatever weight she's lost, but she understands too. Now you can see that you're not going to be skinny, and that's just the genetic side of it.
She too thick. You know what I mean? It's just what it is. It's just too. She has the hips. She has the buttocks. And some people also, man, you don't want to get skinny. You might look like a lollipop. You feel what I'm saying? Some of you people. Why did I say that like that? Some people also. It might not even look right. You know. It might not even, your proportions might look like some of these people with the BBLs. And there's no disrespect to them because they got a BBL. It's just what happens. You know what I mean? It just starts to look out of whack and out of proportion. So look at your family. Look at your people. Look at what you're working with in the mirror. I used to do this thing, and I kind of do it sometimes now, but not as often. I do it with my stomach, but not. I used to do it with my arm because I always wanted to have some type of definition in my arm. And as I was losing weight, I would pull my fat back a little bit to see what my arms, how it was progressing, because at the time I couldn't see it. It was my first time even building on any type of muscle or working on my muscles for real. So that was a very interesting and great thing to experience and to just see. But just get in that mirror, man, and not to critique yourself, but like get in the mirror to see what you're working with and to see what you may actually be looking like when you're done with all of this. Because it's not just about building a body, okay? It ain't. It's just not.
You're not going to be what you see sometimes. And if you know that even as a child, you was a big boned girl, or you was just like me, I was very petite. So I know me being 167 pounds, my body's not supposed to be there. And yes, it's what they call obese. And a lot of people are like, obese? You're not obese? Oh, yeah. By the numbers, yeah, I'm obese and I got to get this down. So, you got to understand the science of it, the numbers. The numbers is what, people don't pay attention to a lot of times. And, we can be food all day long. Well, I want to be a size 6. Me too. Okay. But if that 6 is not for you, be comfortable and just build on what you have, tone that up. So, yeah.
Agreed. You basically answered everything, and then you also put because these words, like when it comes to I would see compound and all that type of stuff, not really knowing what it actually meant. Now you
Yeah.
can kind of just connected the dots for me with a lot of different things that I kind of already had some idea about.
Yeah.
So I definitely appreciate
Yeah.
that. Most definitely. Well,
Yeah.
is it anything else that you want to add to it, or anything you want to promote that you have going on, or anything like that?
Just, it was one thing that you did ask about too that we didn't touch on. I
Mhm.
think this is most important too is about, is it hard to balance when you have children, family, and eating and working?
Mhm.
It can be hard. Yes, it can be hard, but it's doable. It can be done. Now, for me, my perspective on it, for me, because it's only me, no children, no husband, nobody, it's easier. My
Mhm.
mindset, my mental, again, it goes back to the mental state of mind versus, you know, the um, the physical side. But mentally, it's easier for me to sit down and say I can do X, Y, Z versus someone who's actually married or someone who's a single parent. Um, and it's like for them it's an outlet because they have children and they want to use that time for me time. You know what I'm saying? This
Mhm.
is what I want to get out for me. As well as get to that healthy side as well. But a lot of times when we are actually talking to our clients, the best thing you can do is I'll call it food prepping. Food prepping is
Mhm.
the best thing you can do because
Girl, tell me about it. Oh my gosh. It's just about being consistent and organizing your time, because I start and then it's like after that first batch done, it's like I guess you've got into the habit of not cooking for a week. But yeah. Yeah, that's a big one. Oh, that's a big one, man.
um, for me, I take Sunday and whatever meals I have, I take everything and I make it that particular day. At least 3 days. I keep my meat fresh. I really don't have to worry about like heavy volumes of vegetables.
Okay, now that I might need to do it that way. Just pick something, probably my vegetables, because they cook faster than meat. I might have to take that route. And it depends on the meat and also how many days you're expecting to eat meat. So I need to consider that too.
And all of that. I only really just do as far as carbs go, just really like brown rice and rice cakes right now. So
Is that
it's
because
like,
more so you doing the bodybuilding? Is that kind of more
well,
reason?
that too, but when I was working the two jobs, I was working, like I said, at the juvenile detention center. So I was working that from 11 p.m. at night to 7 in the morning. And I get home trying to, get a breakfast in, lay down and get
Mhm.
some sleep. And I'm back up at 2 o'clock headed to the gym. And I don't leave the gym till like 7, and then I'm having to get back home, eat, take a shower, and I'm back at it again. So, um, it was just better for me to prep those meals and the way I told him because I can cook, but I choose not to, especially with that type of schedule. Because even with me being in the gym, I'm having like classes at 3:30, so I'm in the gym at 3:30. Well, I'll just say at 3 o'clock. I'm trying to get my workout in somewhere along the way, and then I got clients that are walking in, so it's just like it's all going like this here. And um, I told him, I said, look, I don't have the time to cook. So he created my nutritional plan to be where I didn't have to really do much cooking. The only cooking I can say I do is like my omelet that I eat in the morning and my shrimp and brown rice. And those two things don't take no more than if 30 minutes tops to prepare, and I'm done. That's the cooking side of it. I have tuna that I mix in a bowl, and my protein shake I use is lean protein. I get that already pre-made up and shake it up, keep walking out the door. So everything was just more or less like I needed that hands touch walk out the door. And I had bought some meal prepping plates off of Amazon, and I used those, and that helps me a lot. And see, you have where mothers.
Systems. Get you some systems in play. Systems. And I had to stop on this one for sure. I was gonna keep it rolling, but like I had to say it because that's what I've been getting back into the systems. I was just watching a video in regards to systems for your business, but um, systems for sure help. And I talked to y'all before, at least on the YouTube side, in regards to the chart that I made that helped me a lot with getting organized and prioritizing things in my life. Is really and ironically it's kind of the same process that the woman did with business when it came to a certain aspect of the business. But it's task management basically. That's just really what it is. And giving you a priority meter, right? Having you a priority meter. So, hey, today, what's more important to do? How important is this to get done in X amount of time or today or whatever your time framing is? Is it something I can get done later in the month? Is it something I need to get done today? So it's putting a number, ranking it, maybe 1 through 10. How high is it on the priority list? If it's high on the priority list, go ahead and get it done. If it's lower, put it on the back end and get it done at a different time.
Those, and that helps me a lot. And see, you have where mothers, they have to prep for them, and then they have children, or a family where their meals have to be totally different than their family, so that can.
Ooh, my goodness. So I went through that at one period of time with my mother. We were eating completely different. It's just me and her in the house. She was working 12-hour shifts. 2 of those hours were being spent on the road driving back home. So it became either she was eating before she got there or eating out or wasn't eating or what. And sometimes I would have to cook and she had a meal, to take to work the next day, or I cooked that day and take whatever. So she was eating stuff like pork, and I wasn't eating pork, she eating cheese, all of the different things that I was kind of cutting out at the time. So I was fixing for her. So that's temptation in front of me, one. And then I'm also making my own stuff. So I feel like from a temptation standpoint as well, that's another thing to also consider because it can be hard. I know for sure, especially in a marriage dynamic I've heard about, and I'm gonna use Tab and Chance as an example. She's vegan and he was still eating how he was eating, you know what I mean? The regular American diet. So, or regular American meals. So, it definitely can be a challenge, man, when you're in a household with someone and they're eating completely different and you are the one who's mostly over um, getting the meals taken care of. So hang in there.
Be where it's like exhausting too. And it's like, which way do I go? Because it's like I gotta fix them something, and then I gotta fix myself something. So it all becomes to where it's like, well, I might as well just eat what they're eating, and then guess what? That goes out the door on it. So yeah, a lot of that is mental, and that working out part is just, like I was saying earlier, a lot of people just need that outlet, that personal trainer to just say, let's motivate, let's get it.
Then also too, just I don't think we've talked about exactly is what's going on in that household. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what's going on in that household. And working out is bigger than just working on your body is a full, whole encompassing mind, body, soul, spirit. Like having that outlet can be good as well also. So it don't make sense for everybody to work out at home. You know what I'm saying? So it's understandable. It's for sure understandable. If you need that outlet, again, take it. You feel me? Take it, baby. Take it. Take it. I get it. Like every household dynamic is not the same. It's not. So do what you need to do.
Just hit it because they've worked all day. Whatever pressures they've had to go through on the job is just like mentally, I'm here, but I'm not. So we have to find somewhere of relating and getting them to the point where we need them to get to where we need them to, just execute this workout. Right at this moment, get your mind where it need to be. I'm gonna talk to you, so you can kind of release whatever that is you need to release, and now we need to work. And that's just how we are, really. We're very sensitive to your need, but at the same time, we got to push you to where you need to be because that's why you're paying us, and that's why we're here, to carry and help you through that. So, but yeah, so that question I thought was a real good question to ask because we had just I had, like I said, reached out to some of the clients, and that was one of the girls. She was saying, she said, "Well, how are you?" I said, "Oh, I'm good, and I've actually have been good. I told her, I said, I started getting up in the mornings and walking this track down the road. It's like 2.7 miles, and I do that thing for like 2 or 3 times, and I come on back home, and it's refreshing, and then it helps jumpstart my day. So that's my cardio, whether I walk it fast or enjoy the nature side of it. That's my cardio. So I get
Yes, yes, baby. So it acts as a dual situation. That's I think why I love walking, and especially taking nature trails or just walking in a park or just walking in the neighborhood. It don't matter. One thing I have no problem with doing is walking. Some days I'm tired, I don't feel like walking, I don't feel like doing nothing. Cool. But like if I'm not willing to do anything else when it comes to working out, I will walk. Okay? That's a for sure thing. So, cause once I get in my groove, I just like get in the zone and I tap out. And it's another reason why I miss my e-bike, my electric bike so much is because like it requires a level of physical or physicality as well. And it's not just sitting there as people would think, just sitting there. It requires you to be able to be agile as well, baby. You need to be able to get up in a moment's notice. It's just like riding a four-wheeler. It ain't just sit there and drive everywhere, go up a hill just sitting there, you know what I mean? Especially depending on what's what. But if it's nothing else, baby, walking is one of them ones. And it definitely is refreshing. I've thought about that whole letting that start my day, and I've said I was going to do it, but honestly, for some reason, it just don't align that way. And what I really truly believe is meant for me to do after work and not the beginning of my day because that's just who I am as a person. So figure out what works, man. Any way to get it in as you need to.
home and I, shower up, and by 12 o'clock, I'm getting my first meal in because I'm on an intermittent fasting. See, that helps me while I'm not overeating. So, once I do that, then I'll kind of lay down, not really sleeping, but just kind of, resting. And then I'm back up going to the gym to train. So, it's easy for me to do that versus somebody that's single, they got to worry about, well, who can I get the kids, or, it's just different things they have to deal with when they have children. Can my children come and make sure they got to have homework? I got to get all this stuff in the car to the gym. So yeah, it's hard. It's hard, but it is doable and it can be done. So it's just all about mentally how you prepare yourself. And if you don't prepare yourself, just like the old saying says, if you fail to plan to fail, because that's just what's gonna happen. Because it's everything. When you planning is so much better. It's functional to me. It's functional. But when you don't plan and it's like those meals that you don't have planned out and thought about. Uh, Go in the refrigerator, you're gonna eat anything on site because you're hungry. Even if you go to the store, you find yourself buying stuff because you're hungry. You get home and you look in that bag and you're like, what in the world was I thinking?
Yeah, people decide to spend
And
about
you're
40
hungry.
dollars,
Yeah,
$50 for nothing, and you went in
on
there for two
nothing.
items.
Yeah, on
Yeah.
nothing. Yeah, because you're hungry. So that's, I mean, when they say don't shop when you're hungry, true statement. So true. Do not go in there if you're hungry, especially coming off a workout, because it's like whatever you see, you're going to touch and grab. And you just have to have that discipline side. Now, if you don't have that discipline side, you'll do it. But even I found myself like, let me hear me get up out this store because I'm looking at stuff I know I don't need, things that I know I'm not supposed to have. Let me go. And that's why I end up buying them, the Renos that talk about challenge. No, you wanted them at the time. I'm just gonna be honest. No, you wanted them at the time. So that's where we went. So, I had to kind of, we're not gonna sit here and eat these bags.
Discipline yourself. Discipline yourself. Hey, but you know what? That's one of the things too that I was gonna just tell you. You gave me some little pointers, just small things to just implement that will change up my whole outlook
Oh
right
yeah.
now. That will push me to get to where I know I'm trying to get to. And that whole
Hmm.
writing on the bag, and I've been doing a lot of putting up different things, just little notes and things like that to just try to help me stay on track. Like you said, just
Right.
having something to connect to, like okay, this keep you on track. So
Hmm.
that's
Hmm.
definitely what I've been trying to get back into the swing of creating those good habits. So
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
and I also
That's
maybe I can get you back on here again, and I wanted to talk to you about the nutritional side. If that's something that you go into. If not, then I might speak with you to see if you can get your partner, if he can talk about it. So,
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Well, now we can go into, and I can have him in as well. Now with his schedule, because he's actually still at detention. So it would be, I have to. You know what? I can just reach out to you, let him know what's up, and I can reach out and let you know when a good time for him, because he has a family, and then he's
mm,
trying to he he has multiple streams of income.
yeah,
It's like he moving. Now I thought I was a mover. He's a mover and shaker. So
yeah,
it's like, and I'm just trying to get multiple streams, but without having to be, because I don't want to be confined
burnt
to
out.
another job.
Yes, yes, indeed.
That's where I'm trying to get vamp off. Whether I'm trying to put it on a pair of socks, a pair um hats or whatever, headband, wristbands. But my main goal was to, t-shirts, sports bras, leggings, the sports side of it. That's what I really kind of want to get my hands on. But it's like, who do you talk to? And I got my trademark and all that I need, because I just don't want anybody to steal the idea.
See, I
And
need to
that's what
talk
my
to you.
mind said. Yeah. So I'm like, if I cut the middleman out, Hmm. But I'm like, well, I'm trying to learn what is it that I need in here without being where, because I've seen like, equipment where it can be, ten thousands of dollars, and I'm like, for some
Yes, yes, yes. And I wonder if this is still a thing. I need to reach out to her for sure. I need to reach out to her and kind of get an update on what's what and see, because if so, I definitely feel like this would be, if she's not already here, would be definitely a good platform for her to do what she do for sure. So I'm gonna have to reach out to her.
equipment. All I want to do is print a shirt.
Now, look,
So,
that's why I say I gotta talk to you because it's not to that extent. It ain't even gotta be that far.
yeah.
So I almost definitely we had to get together and talk about that too, because what I want to know is about the trademark, and I got some information on you when it comes to that, to how you can do it in the house. Because if I had the space to really do it in the way that I wanted to do it,
Mhm.
that would be my thing. So that's something I'm
Yeah.
trying to tiptoe into, but it'll take a little time. Um,
Yeah.
so
And things can take a little time, and I'm just like, I know what I gotta do, because I gotta eat and I gotta pay
yep,
bills where I live dead. So it's like, I'm not panicking, but I do know what I'm up against right now. So, and it's
yep,
it's timing, it's timing. So,
that
like I
part.
said, for these March up until now, I've been good. I'm just don't want to get to that point where I allow, negativity because like I said, I've been good. And I do have in the back of my mind that I know I gotta get where I need to be to get, you know, where I need to be. So I have other plans too. It's just like I said, once I put the 2 weeks notice in and I served my last day, it was like what was it? What they call not Black Friday, but um it was on a Friday.
Good Friday.
Oh God. No, on a Good Friday. It was
Oh,
March
okay.
15th. So that was like what they call it when it's scary, the scary Friday. What they call it? I can't even call what it is, but
No, 'cause the only one I
mm,
think is Friday the 13th. That's the only one I can
yeah,
think
something
of.
like it
Yeah.
might have been Friday, March 13th. It was one of those days, but you did what it is. But
I
so it
understand.
might have been the 13th, but it was Friday and it was March. It was the second week in March. And like I said, once I did that, everything just like it just started shutting down. I said, okay. Sorry,
Trust,
I
trust,
didn't panic.
trust.
I didn't panic. So that's why I put little things up like, faith is stuff is a thing, hope for whatever this thing is not seen. So I do believe that where I am right now, he's gonna take me to a place of things that I've never seen before.
I'm
And
in the
I just
same
gotta stay with
space.
him. Oh yeah. I just gotta believe that. But like I said, once some things start opening up, which they're actually opening the gym up back here on Monday. So we gotta tomorrow we're gonna do a workout and then think about how we're gonna get the equipment back in because we allowed our clients to come and check out, the equipment that they will need for this time frame. And then
Hmm.
that's what I said. That's the good one of the good sides of having a smaller, number of people where you can do that.
Hmm.
Um, so we gave the equipment out and we got to figure out how we're going to get back in because I told him, I said, I'm just right now, I don't feel comfortable with the opening. And I know, it is what it is, but business wise, but um, I told him I'm only going to do one boot camp class and I'm going to do it from 5 to 5:45. That keeps down the traffic from different people walking in and out the door, 3:30. You got this group, one class. And I know it's going to be some women that are going to be against, but I can't do it. Well, you can still have that option of getting, because we also loaded the workouts online for them to have it. So you still have that option until it's over, ended. Once it expires, then one way or the other, you got to do something. So I hate to see you go, but at the same time, I'm trying to offer something that's that one time because right now, like I said, I have to protect me, and I'm not going to be in the gym with no mask on. I'm sorry, I'm not. I'm just not going to be in the gym with the mask on. So I'm just being honest about it.
Agree.
Even when we do come between 5 and 5:45, I think the weather should be where I know sunny. And if it's not just because like today it's cold, we got that little rain in, but we're gonna be outside. And that's just it because most boot camps you see outside. So um so I kind of want to come away from boot camp, but I know I gotta hold on to that for a little while. And like I said, these other classes gonna be implemented in just as soon as I get myself where I need to be with them. If it's just touching on some things with it, but yeah. So, because I just believe in results at the same time, not people just coming in to maintain. I don't feel as a trainer, I don't feel like I am pushing forth effort in a sense of feeling like that adequate feeling, like the need of me. Um,
Hmm.
if I'm telling you what to do, then I should feel like, I see my work. Um, and some people just gonna be where they just want to maintain. They gun ho at the beginning, and then in the end, it's just I want to maintain at the end of the day. And I got that in my mindset, but I need results too. I need to see those things because it may be where I want to, do a before and after picture of you. People want to see that. That's what sells too. So I have to understand, that's the plus side and the negative side to it too. So
Yeah.
I take it all with a grain of salt
Yeah.
and push forward. So
Yes,
yeah.
ma'am. Definitely understand that one because that is the thing. Like I said, with seeing results. Even when you was talking about yourself, because I was gonna ask you. I understand you was talking about it from a business standpoint. I was gonna ask you from a personal standpoint when it comes to um, building muscle in certain places and
Mhm.
being a woman. And as you said, being able to still keep it classy, even just from a place of going different places and not looking, like you said, not so muscle bound, but still keeping that feminine look. Also, I was
Yeah.
gonna ask you about that too, but it was basically still about balance from what I got from
Yeah. Yeah. Well, when it comes down, see, that's what a lot of people read. The reason why they are reluctant to pick up weight and heavy weight because they have that notion that I will look more like a man, but that's not true because you have what they call lean and they have what they call gains. A lot of women, they lean out first, and then once they lean out to me is more or less like if you're leaning totally to go into like a competition state of mind, like with me, I'm trying to do bikini competition. So I may lean out to the point where my body fat has to get up under a certain percentage as well as my weight. So my weight class may be like 115 or 120, or something like that,
mm,
off season. But a lot of women, what they call gaining is where they gain weight and then they build or tone up on that. And that's why you see the thicker side of some women. And when you just actually a straight, you know, seeing a lot of muscular women is because that goes back to the nutrition side, the food portions and stuff. You may your protein and your carbs may be higher, or it may be where you're trying to lean out, carbs are lower, protein high, vegetables kind of high. So, it's just the way you play with that portion size that makes you look like, you buffed out and that man look. Because even looking at my arms, my arms are actually, I look bigger on camera, but if you see me face to face, I'm way smaller than what you see. And a lot of people don't understand that until they actually see me in person. So a lot of times that camera can fool you. So yeah, yeah,
yes,
because a lot
most
of people thought
definitely.
I was bigger than that. They saw me in person. They was like, "Oh wow, you smaller than what I saw." Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's what I wanted to learn about too, the lean side of it, because all my life, obviously, I come from the background of the big bone anyway, and then
yeah.
also it's just wanting to just get to the point of not having the muscle build and just like you said, the lean out.
Hmm.
That's what I wanted to get more into and then build off of that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, see, that goes back into the genetic side of it. If you know you're just gonna be a big boned girl, then 9 times out of 10, certain things that you could do is more or less like lean more out. That means that your food prepping, all of that comes to play. Your nutrition side of it comes to play. Where if you don't want the big muscular look, like I said, you can do the lean side of it, but just also know that you may not lean out fully because of your
Right.
genetic.
Hmm.
Now that is the part that I am um how do I put this? That's the part that I'm just interested in finding out. I've seen how small I can get. You know what I'm saying? I understood that if I kept losing weight, that was possible as well, for me to become even smaller. But my goal weight I have in mind, I'm wondering how much can I be lean with that weight as well. And have muscles and I have the contour that I'm actually going for. So I won't know until I continue to kind of work towards that. Not kind of continue to work towards that as a goal. So we'll see. Because after this, I'm probably going to look into kind of like a lean, I guess, people who eat more on the lean side, and also couple this information with blood type and me understanding what I want to actually consume as well. So, couple different things to consider, but all of it matters. And then I want to also make sure I look at, if I do decide to eat these things, even though I prefer not to, how much of an effect does that have in one way or the other?
But even with that, you can tone up real nicely with it. You know, you can lose the
Um,
weight, and picking up the heavy weights is not saying that you're gonna be manly.
right.
And um, that's the misconception of it. It's just saying picking up the heavy weights. When you see me pick up the heavy dumbbell, is because back to what I was saying about
The cardio.
metabolism. Yeah, the metabolism side of it. When you have where your metabolism, like with me, is slower. So the more muscle you have, the more you burn. So if you have less muscle, which as you get older, your muscles do break down. So that's why the strength training comes in. So I'm picking up heavy weights, but guess what? I'm burning more. So I'm not looking.
Girl. So, for me to do what it is that I'm looking to do at this point, is that I want to lose a chunk and then just sculpt and not focus so much on losing, but more so sculpting. Interesting. Thank you. Thank you. 5 years later, good information.
Buffed up. I'm more slimming down. That's the science of it.
And that's the thing I wanted to get to. That's also why I kind of changed my diet up.
Mhm.
In terms of that's why I wanted to talk to you about nutrition. But
Yeah.
for me personally, meat does not do me well. I feel like I don't even like a lot of pork anyway. But when it comes to like pork and beef, I really didn't kind of took that
Hmm.
down to almost like a zero. You might as well say pork side basically. But I know chicken. I've been getting mixed reviews about chicken. Sometimes I hear good, sometimes I hear bad. So I kind of don't know where to kind of leave that because I kind of want to leave chicken out. So that's something I wanted to know
Now,
about as well.
with that, now see, I've had a stage where I did not care for chicken, and it was because I seen a video. That video grossed me out so good.
Oh boy. If anyone has gone on any type of fitness journey, man, that you watch them videos, ooh, it'll do it to you. And that's the thing that I consume the most at this point is chicken, and I'm really wanting to get away from it. I've learned that beef can be good for my body. It's just about in the quantity and what it is that I'm consuming with the beef that's going to make a lot of the difference for my body in particular. Pork is a no go. It does nothing for my body, none at all. So that's out of the picture. But of course, some traces of pork still come up in a plethora of things in life that I may consume. So I'm not ignorant to that fact. But in terms of me deciding to go to a store and pick a pork chop up, that's not happening. Me deciding to actually go and get pork bacon, while I know that's exactly all that's in there, not happening. So intentionally, I'm not eating pork, right? Can I do better with my research? Yes. I eat some Doritos at times. Pork is in Doritos. If it's still in there, then So marshmallows, they put pork. They use the fat. So there's a few things that's supposed to have traces of pork still in it, but I'm not eating it in large quantities.
And I know for at least a year I was doing vegetarian diets until I really had to look into that too, because even when you buy like prepackaged food, they call you a um
Yes. So that's the thing too. There's two types of vegans, right? There's the vegans that eat like for real clean to the T as much as possible, and there are some vegans that are not really that far off from eating all the other bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Because it's still considered to be processed foods, which is where the problem comes in at. So definitely be mindful that all this packaged food is not not necessarily a healthier option, even though they kind of act as if it is. So just be mindful of that.
Vegan junkie because it's in a box. You know, you buy your patties and stuff like that, where they tell you really
Still
everything supposed
processed.
to be, yeah, and you're supposed to do everything from scratch in order to be, vegan and vegetarian. It's not a hard process because a lot of times I felt where it was easier for me to prepare a meal without the meats. But
Mm-hmm.
the key to it is what you got to understand is the protein comes from the meat. So if you're not getting the protein from your meat, you gotta get it from something plant based or your your nuts. And a lot of people don't understand, how to come up with that. That's the thing.
Yep.
So like with me, I went years without.
That was my issue, figuring out how do I replace this meat and how do I get protein from other places. So that is my journey with getting to the nutritional side. Even to this day, that's still one of the things I have not done. So this again was 5 years ago. So again, I'm saying this one more time. It's a work in progress because there's a lot of other things that I have learned, so blood types and the body systems, and it's so many other things that I've learned during this time that has worked me up to this point. So do what you feel led to do and learn first. It's a journey. It's so much to know. Again, you just have to try.
Eat pork and beef as well because I know beef breaks down in my system too slow.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
That part right there. And that's the conversation I was having with one of my friends, Miss DJ. Also, one of my garden friends. She's a friend first, but I say garden friend because that's how we met. Um, and that was my conversation with her. And, she's the same conversation. She's just like, well, you need certain things in your diet and so forth and so on. She's an advocate for meat, right? So I'm like, I just don't like how it comes out of my body. It's horrible when it starts to come out of my body. But that goes back to what I said about portion sizes and what I'm consuming with it to counteract. But see, those are all of the things that I've been learning, real time learning, instead of just going through books to just learn this is this nutrition, this is that, like really real time working it out so I understand from that point because that's how my mind works before I get into all this book stuff, because the book terminology can get weird. So I need to learn on a real world how is my body responding so I know what I need to know compared to listening to what someone has written in a book that may have only worked for them or XYZ. So start there. Start with what you know your body is needing and what's happening in real time for you. And speaking of beef, I actually have some beef strips down there right now that I shall be cooking as soon as I'm done with this stream. And I bought like for a beef stew, I bought some beef for that. And I'm going to have that. I'm going to cook it, freeze some of it, and eat some of it. And I wanted to use that as like just, piece by piece to kind of eat throughout a week. But I can't have too much, which is why I'm going to freeze it. And it's not even a lot of meat, but I don't want to do what I've did before. If you're from YouTube, then back in think it's like around maybe April, March of last year. I had got sick because I ate the bitter tacos, which is pretty much beef. It's originally made, I think, with goat meat, but it was beef and cheese, right? And cilantro. And they give you like two, like a lime cut up, right? But I had a bitter quesadilla, right? Quesadilla. I have quesadilla, however you want to put it. And baby, I overdid it. I did that. I did. I overdid it. And all of that beef and cheese clogged me up. I was sick. And if it sits in your body for too long, it rots. In your body, it comes out. It comes out of your body and it plays out in your skin, in your poop, in your smell of your skin, so your sweat. It plays out, which is why knowing what you're consuming makes a difference. For sure. I had to counteract it by eating papaya, which has a lot of fiber and is also good with a lot of things, antibacterial, inflammation. It works with all of those great components. It helps with your gut health. So that flushed out. And then I had the watermelon to hydrate me, because once you're doing a heavy detox and getting all of that out of you, and consuming water, which water alone is not really going to hydrate the body, not this water that we drinking. So getting it from the fruit, H3O in it, helped hydrate my cells and hydrate my body to be able to process this through, because eating the fiber is just conjuring it up. But if it has no way to move through, it's not lubricated, it's not happening. You know what I'm saying? So again, knowing your body, understanding what does what to do what to help you. Also, lime water as well. But all of that, clearing that mucus out, because that's what the cheese was doing, and the inflammation from the beef and all of those crazy things. So it's good to learn in real time, because I've went through a lot of things to where I had to just learn real time how to resolve the issue, and those are lessons I was able to keep with me for a lifetime, because I had a lot of different random things again occur in my life, man. Like, for real, if I could just think back and sit and conjure up all the things I've experienced and had to learn how to deal with on my own, boy, I tell you. And thank God for the resources, and thank God for God, you feel me, with putting things in my spirit to do, and it worked. And now I know it's repeatable and I can teach other people when. So I'm just grateful. I'm really here as a living testament, of living proof, for real, of healing, man, in a lot of different ways. So just keep taking in that knowledge and do something with it.
Pork, the hypertension side of pork.
Yeah.
And like I said, this particular year, last year, I was having those cravings for bacon, and I just nothing else, just bacon. I don't want pork chops because I got grossed out with the smell, and that's what
That part.
you know. And so the bacon, I get a call for bacon because I love the crunch, and I'm thinking that's
Mm-hmm.
probably
Man, genetics is a motherfucker, because everything she's saying is basically how it plays out for me. How it plays out for me. Your maternal side can be a stronger side. It really depends on a lot of factors in the background. But it's very interesting. My maternal side is very thick, okay? Very thick. That's where a lot of things lie. So hearing this now, again, it's interesting, because that's my whole thing. It's really the crunch, right? Like chicken wings, it's that crunch that you get from eating the chicken wings. And I also, like I said before, I like to work through my food. So when I'm eating meat, I just enjoy the taking it apart. You know, the and it's to say it and to hear me saying it right now, it just seems like what? But once you get it. You know. So the crunch for the fried chicken, I just like the crunch. Honestly, chips, I like the crunch. Ice, I like the crunch. All of it is the same. It's getting to the same thing, but they all cause the same problems. Plus more, depending on what exactly it is for its its additional issue. But man, when you learn the body, you can work with yourself. When you learn your habits, you can work with yourself. But knowing is key.
It's just all about too the crunch.
Yep, that's what I
With,
found. My problem was the
yeah,
missing that crunch. I
yeah.
realized it was not about because when I season, like when I first started, when I season my beans and season, it's basically the same as if I was eating some meat because all I was really eating for was the season.
Mm-hmm.
So it was that crunch that
Mm-hmm.
I was definitely missing too.
Oh
That
yeah.
I kind of had to try to
Oh
find
yeah.
in other things. I
Yeah.
definitely
Yeah.
relate with that one.
Yeah.
Definitely relate with that one.
A lot of people think it's hard and overwhelming, but it's not. The more you get into it, the more you have to find out because you're doing more research about it. And then your
Mm-hmm.
trainer's supposed to be where he's or she is open enough to talk to you about it as well. So, yeah. Yeah. We'll get back on here with you about the nutrition.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Hmm.
Well, just let me know. And
Okay.
also, is there any way that they can get your shirt set right now?
Right now, no. Because I really see when I did this shirt, I only did like four of them, and
Mm-hmm.
I gave the two to two different people. One was one of the people that a person that helped me create it, and I gave the shirt to that person, and then another person was my trainer. He got one,
Mm-hmm.
but I want to get my trademark on it, and then I want to kind of create some more because I have a design for it as well, and I want to do where it's twofold, front and back side on some of the shirts. Some of the shirts you get this, um, but like I said, on some of the shirts you may get the design on the front, or you get the twofold where you got this on the front and then you have the design on the back. But I gotta get that trademark on there. So right now, until I can actually find somebody who can help me, I mean, I'm starting from scratch, so just help me from the bottom up, get that trademark because I did have Kim Brown. She actually did the printing of the shirts for me, but I don't want to be where people just sell my stuff, without me getting that.
The best route to do it, from what I've been hearing, is getting the actual website. Because that's the one thing that I wanted to kind of make sure I also built on instead of
Okay.
trying to sell it through third party, for example, link with Amazon and sell it through Amazon. You can do a lot more when you got your own website. So that's one thing too that I
Mm-hmm.
see that was the best route to really take to get the most profit. Because then you can also
Okay.
implement your videos and just everything else on there too. And
Okay.
be a whole different section. So
Yeah. Okay.
definitely.
I'll look into that thing. Yeah,
Just
but I've been doing a whole lot of research with it, and it's just like sometimes I just say, you know what, it's beating my head down too bad. I'm gone. I have to come away from it sometimes.
that's what I do. I see it like YouTube. I tell people YouTube University. Like when I say you can find like people, that's where I got a lot of my information from, and just people actually walking you through it and showing you how to do it step by step. Like that has helped me a lot. And I made a playlist where I got all the videos lined up with like business information, and I say they
Yeah.
really been helpful. So that's one thing you most definitely do, and it can it can most definitely make you like I want to do it right now because that was my thing. I'm like I want to do it right now,
Yeah.
but had to take my time. The
Yeah.
thing that I'm stuck on is trying to find good paper because I can easily go to the store
Okay.
and get some little regular transfer paper, but for longevity in
Mm.
terms of people being able to wash it and consistently and all that type of stuff, that's kind of what my hang up was. But I do have some
Yeah.
information on that if you do want to kind of do it, because I know people who do about bulk, where they get different
Hmm.
printouts of it and go from there. So,
Yeah. Okay.
most definitely
Okay.
had to
So,
look at that and get to that one. But
yeah.
you
Yeah.
got any
Yeah.
social media that you want the people to get to you, get in touch with you on, or
Um, my Facebook page, Pamela Hill, and then I have two Instagram. I have I Desire Fitness, and then I have, of course, my name is under I think it's Sweet Bobby 37. I think it is, or Bobby 37, something like that. But but yeah, my I Desire Fitness is more of my boot camp. I try to keep that boot camp classes and my trainings that I've done. And
mm-hmm.
then my actual page is more for me. And I hadn't posted anything lately, but I think I need to get a little more consistent with that because I actually had
Mm.
Facebook and Instagram tied together and it was working good. And all of a sudden, I don't know what happened, but I didn't do anything. It was just whatever this phone, it just does its own little thing. So,
Yeah, it also could be an update because what happened to me is I had my two business accounts linked on Instagram, and I noticed when they did like the
mhm.
update that they kind of went out of sync, and then now you're able to do
Yeah,
it again. So I think it might be on their side with them changing a lot of stuff up too.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm,
Okay,
most definitely. Well, y'all
cool.
most definitely check her out, and she will be back. I'm speaking it into existence. She will.
All right, y'all. So I want to say I appreciate the the information, man. It's just a lot of information, a lot of good things, a lot more to, like I said, get into also. And I want to reach out to her soon to kind of see what's the deal, where she's at now with everything. Because a lot of those social media platforms, especially like Facebook, where I used to keep up with family, that I don't really talk to, you know, personally through phone, like texting and stuff, even though we all got each other's contact. It's just reaching out, everybody doing their own thing. So I have not seen anything in a while. So I don't have Instagram anymore. I don't have Facebook anymore. So I'm out of there, you know. So what I'm going to do is see what's what now. I have more videos that I'm going to be reacting to as well. You see my social medias at the bottom. Tap in with me. Um, Also, really quick, because I'm going to be going through my old content. Or can I go back? I'm going to be going through my old content.
Went
Can
out of
I
sync,
go
and then
back?
now you're able to.
Yeah, I'm still building my YouTube channel, so come over here and subscribe as well. Follow me here on Twitch also. But I got a couple videos from back in the G that I'm gonna be reacting to. So here we go. Different podcasts I'll be reacting to. Some of these I will be, some I won't. But yeah, it's definitely some information to know. So we will be doing that. Stay tuned, tap in, and I'll catch y'all shortly. I'll be back soon. In the meantime, sub up on my YouTube, follow on my TikTok, and here on Twitch. Y'all have a good night. An excellent, wonderful, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful night. Be easy.